Gabby Jimenez. I am a health promotion specialist at the Pueblo Department of Public Health and Environment, our health department for short. We have a long name. But I'm here to talk to you today about our program. It's called Family Friendly Pueblo County. It's all about working with businesses to improve their policies or help them adopt new ones to help them be a family-friendly entity. So you might ask or think to yourself, what does that mean if you're not familiar with that term? So what it means is we're looking for businesses to hopefully have policies in the following areas. So as you can see here, hopefully they have, they're providing a living wage, anything above minimum wage if possible. Hopefully they offer some comprehensive health benefits, perhaps paid leave, caregiving responsibilities. That could be, they may offer a child care assistance of some sort. Flexibility and scheduling, so maybe they offer a schedule that's outside of that standard Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. Supportive services would be things like offering a lactation policy or a lactation space for those nursing mothers who are back to work after having their little ones and need a space to express their milk. Career development would be that they offer training opportunities, hopefully, to help people grow in their careers. And then community involvement could be if they offer any type of volunteer service hours outside of work. And I'm not sure why it's not letting me go to the next slide. There we go. Okay, so what we'll talk about, here's an overview. We'll talk about the benefits of a family-friendly workplace, types and examples of the policies, and then what it takes to get started. So some background information first. Research does show that family-friendly workplace policies help to increase productivity in the workplace, improve loyalty and commitment, so overall morale in the workplace, and ultimately it contributes to employees having a healthier, happier work-life balance, which is very important these days, especially after the pandemic. We know that created lots of different barriers, and the workforce has been quite different ever since. So family-friendly policies are good for the employee and they're good for their families for a variety of reasons. So here's some of those listed out. I won't read every single one because I know that looks a little wordy, but just a few examples. It's good for the employee because, again, it does increase morale in the workplace. It improves overall health outcomes for employees. It does reduce their stress when they have family-friendly policies that contribute to their work-life balance. And it's good for their family because it does reduce things like infant mortality rates, since we know that those mortality rates happen for a variety of reasons. It does improve the rate and duration of breastfeeding if a mom chooses to do that when she goes back to work. And of course, it contributes to an overall better mental well-being for the employee and their family. So this one, this talks about why these policies are good for the employer, right? As I mentioned before, it does help to decrease rates of turnover, especially because in my experience at the health department, we've noticed a pretty high turnover rate. So having family-friendly policies does help decrease that. It helps retain employees, which is what we need in the workforce. It does increase, as I mentioned before, staff productivity. It promotes workplace equity. And the other thing I was going to mention is just that it really does help employers so that they're offering a variety of things to their people, because then that's gonna attract more employees if they're trying to recruit. So those are some more examples there. Skip that one. Okay. So components of a family-friendly workplace, as I mentioned before, we're looking for policies in these areas. So now we'll kind of dive into some examples of different employers within our community who have these types of policies. So for comprehensive health benefits, the health department does offer a pretty exceptional package, including para-retirement and health, dental, vision insurance, with an option of a health savings account as well, if employees choose that. For paid leave, we have the Chavez Huerta K through 12 Preparatory Academy. They offer a very nice paid time off policy, that protects their employees during times of illness, deaths of family members, or other emergencies. For caregiving responsibilities, CSU Pueblo is a great example of this because they have their on-site childcare facility. So that obviously benefits employees and students as well who are going to school there. Flexibility in scheduling. NeighborWorks Southern Colorado here in town, they offer a very good flexible work schedule for employees who do wish to work outside of that traditional 8-hour day, 5 days per week. This is becoming more and more common because people do need flexibility in scheduling for different reasons, right? Perhaps they have a family with multiple children and it requires them to be home more with their kiddos. Maybe they want to work a 4 10-hour day, right? So that they have an extra day off on Fridays, for example, with their families. Community involvement. Kohl's actually has a really good volunteer program for their employees, which is really interesting because you don't see this a whole lot with corporations and chains. So that's pretty interesting. It's good to know. And for career development, Catholic Charities actually offers $250 per semester to their employees attending classes. So that's huge because that's limited. There's not a whole lot of employers who are able to offer things like this with tuition reimbursement. So anytime you see that, it's very helpful to people who are wanting to go back and earn an education or continue their education. For supportive and inclusive services, Pueblo Community College, they have a fantastic breastfeeding policy for both their employees and their students. And I actually was able to work with them a few years ago. We worked on that particular policy and I helped them actually create a lactation room on site for employees and their students. So if you ever get a chance to check that out, please do. It's a great space. We have pictures of it too if you're interested in seeing that later on. For living wages, that one is just, like I said, it's just an example of hopefully employers are able to provide a wage above minimum wage if possible, because as we all know, the world is getting more and more expensive. Inflation is pretty bad these days, unfortunately. So it's really important that employers offer, an adequate wage if possible. So for getting started with participating in this program, all it would take is you completing a survey for me that tells me a little bit more about your overall background, what your demographic information is for your employees, what policies you might already have in place, or maybe there's some that you don't have within the 8 components that we talked about earlier. If you guys can see earlier, we had talked about those. So it just helps me see where you're at policy-wise. And if there's any opportunity for us to work together on either improving policies you have or adopting new ones, because I can help you write those new policies if you're interested. And then when you complete those things, the survey, any kind of policy work with me, I would just have you complete another survey at the end just to kind of understand how your experience was working with me, what we can do better, things like that. And then what we would do is we'd be able to certify you as a family-friendly employer or business. So we would give you a family-friendly logo that you could use anywhere you choose, whether that be on social media or on your actual building, things of that nature. And can't forget this because it's important. If you choose to just take the survey, First, I can give you an incentive of $50 on a Visa gift card. And then if you choose to continue working with me on any type of policy change, you can earn more incentives up to $600 for your business. Now that would come in the form of the Visa gift cards, or we have other fun amenities like Keurig coffee makers, popcorn machines, things like that that we could give you as your incentive if you choose. Or you could kind of mix and match, if that makes sense. You could do, half gift cards and then one of those items to add up to the $600. The Latino Chamber is actually a really good example of that. When we worked together on policies, they were awarded a Keurig and a popcorn machine, right? I gave you guys both of those. That's what you chose instead of the gift cards. So yes, it's pretty simple, honestly. It's just taking an assessment survey and then deciding if you'd like to work with me or not on policies. So this just is a quick diagram to talk about what we've discussed today, how to move forward, and that is everything that I have for you all. I do have a few handouts for those that are in person, so I'll give those to you here in just a moment. But for now, does anyone have any questions for me? All right, do you guys see any?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
On the 8 ideal policies that you listed out, is there a minimum number that you're requiring for qualifying for the family friendly designation?
Great.
Just one, anyone?
Great question. We don't have a minimum, just any one. And if there's multiple, of course, that's even better. But yes, even just one of those would work.
Great, thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. Thank you for asking.
Hey Gabby,
Hi there.
it's Rosemary from the Alzheimer's Association. Hey, I was just I you may have mentioned this and I may have missed it, but I know that the health department is working on a kind of dementia friendly plan for the state. But I'm wondering when you're talking about these benefits of staying home with children and stuff like that, sick children or maternity leave, if, including care for like an elder person to stay home and take care of them also, if that's included.
Yes, it is. I'm glad you asked. I didn't discuss that example, but yes, that would fall under the caregiving responsibilities. There are some employers, who can offer that type of assistance with elderly. So yes, that's definitely something we're looking for.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. I don't see any other questions.
That's very good.
Well, thank you.
Very good. I think there's a lot of businesses that can take advantage of that. The problem is don't have the luxury of the funds.
Right.
to do it.
Yes, I agree. That's a big barrier that I've seen with employers who don't offer healthcare benefits but want to. They just don't have the funds to do that. So you're right. Yeah, I do see that a lot,
Aside
unfortunately.
from the financial feedback or reservation for where you live.
Good question, Noah. There has just been hesitancy because I think people don't always understand what the program is, even though I try to explain it as best I can. People still just don't quite get it. They're like, this sounds nice, but I just don't understand. Or people are just very busy, and so this is very low on their priority list, which is unfortunate because it's important. Businesses should they should want to improve these type of things to help retain their employees and keep those people happy and healthy in the workplace. So that's what I'm seeing the most, is that people either don't understand what this is or they're too busy, honestly, to participate. But as I mentioned before, it really doesn't take a whole lot, because I'm just asking for people to complete a quick assessment survey, again, to tell me more about your business, your demographics, what policies you do or don't have, and then the actual policy work really wouldn't take too much time, especially if, I'm the one. I could be the one writing the policy. Of course, we want the business to do that because the business is going to know exactly what they want included in their policy. But if someone is just completely lost, then of course I can assist with writing some of those policies. Not all of them, but some.
And is the surveys you talked about are those online?
Yeah, so we can do it either online. I could send it via email, or if you'd rather have, a paper copy, of course I can bring those wherever need be. So yeah, we can do it either way. And I don't have a picture of the actual survey on the PowerPoint itself, but it's right here in person, so it's not very long. And I can give those to you both if you're interested in seeing those. All right, well, I think we're good to go unless anyone has anything else. If not, please feel free to take down my information here on the slide, give me a call, or send me an email if you have questions. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Gabby.